All right, I'll start with a short introduction about me, so you know who you're looking at, and then we'll do some interactive session. Don't get scared. I won't bite. So you can call me Sensei if you want. I give coding dojos, so that's mostly a lot of fun trying out new techniques, playing with code, trying to get to know other people, how they code. And that way I teach TDD. Who knows TDD? Who uses TDD? Who used TDD today? There you go. That's good. That's good. Anybody doesn't know TDD at all? It's a test-driven development. So basically, instead of just programming, you write tests first, and you develop out of the tests. Pair programming. Anybody does pair programming sometimes? Today. I also do more programming, and we're going to do a session of that today. I'm a freelance iOS developer. I worked at some big companies like Philips, ING, and Shell. And currently, I'm working with Shell as a freelance developer. And we had safety day today, which means half of Shell is actually in sessions all day about safety. I'm a little obsessed about safety now because I've worked in Shell too long, maybe. So that means that I had to move this pedal, this whatever you call it, so there's no cables that you can trip over. It's my little obsession. Also, you have to know there's an exit on that side. So if anything happens on this side, you can go out that side. Did anybody notice that? Good. So now you all know. So that's part of Safety Day. So you get a little bit of Shell today. That was all of Shell. I'm on Twitter, Jelle Alten, that's me. I don't do a lot, but if you really want to follow me, you can walk behind me. What else do? I bake sourdough bread every day. Why sourdough bread? Because it's more challenging than just yeast bread, and I like challenges, basically. I post my that's actually from this afternoon, so that's almost live bread. It's true. I also do Scrum. I like no estimates. That's like a little movement on Twitter about skipping estimates, or at least talk about, do we really need estimates, or does only the project manager need estimates and we just want to work? I think that's an interesting movement. So I hate story points. You want to talk about that? Come after, and then we go outside and we can talk about story points. And I also like to teach kids a little bit about programming. So I use Dash and Dot for that, and they can learn what computers do, what robots do. So that's a little bit about me. Who knows him? Yes, that's the godfather of the mob, right? So we are going to do some mob programming. It's something invented or thought of by Woody Zell and other people. And what they really want to do by mob programming is get a group of people together on one computer. So on the left side, on the top left, you see what happens during a day if you're programming on your own. You have some good moments, you have some bad moments. You write some good code, you write some bad code, and you're like, but it works. It's bad code. Or you don't even notice it. But if you have multiple people working on one thing at the same time, there's always people that are alert. Somebody might have some good code at this moment. Somebody else will have good code in that moment. So you get all the good code all the time. So that's basically the idea of mob programming. There's also a lot of other advantages like sharing knowledge, learning how to use tools, finding out little tricks that you didn't know before. But this is really the idea about mob programming. I know some companies that actually use this like a couple of hours a day, and then people go out again, and then they come back together the next day to do this again. So they have all the knowledge in everybody's head, and they really go fast, and they really deliver a lot of products. And the CEO actually doesn't believe in it, but he sees they deliver a lot of value, so he just like, I don't believe it, but keep going on. So what happens? Did anybody hear about mob programming before today? You have, you've been there, all right. So basically we have a driver, a typist, somebody on a computer. That's a computer. That person cannot really think. It's not allowed to make up things, not allowed to create beautiful code because he thought of this beautiful thing. He can just type. But there's a navigator, and that's the person that's programming. So he or she will tell the driver what to write. And it might be high level, like create a class for this or that. Or it might be in low level, like type a C, type a L, type a A, type a C and another C, because the level of the driver might vary, right? So the navigator will, just as you are in the car, you might say, drive to Amsterdam, and the driver will do that. Or you might have to say, go left there, go right there, go left there, not left, go on the highway, take the next exit. So sometimes you have to adjust a little bit depending on the skills of the typist, right, the driver. And basically, these two are creating a program. And there's a mob. There's like a small group of people sitting here at front, helping them if they get stuck. And after 5 minutes or 3 minutes, depends what my mood is in, we will rotate. So the one that actually has all these brilliant ideas, you're like, yes, we now can create this test for, and then the 5 minutes are over, and then this person goes over here. And he or she will be like, yes, I'm gonna, oh, darn, can't do that. I had all these great ideas, but I cannot do anything because the next navigator might have better ideas. So it's really frustrating. Be warned, but it's amazing. So the mob, the few people that are sitting here, they rotate all the time. So after 3 or 5 minutes, the one that's here becomes the navigator becomes the driver becomes part of the mob. And it might be that these two have an idea, or this navigator has an idea, or gets stuck, ask these people for some inputs. Maybe they don't know it, and then we ask the big group, the mob, what can we do now, or which route should we take? So everybody will participate in somehow. We use strong style pairing, which means, I already talked about navigator and driver. Everything the navigator thinks about cannot just be typed in. It has to be talked, said, and then goes through the ears of the driver into the computer. That means that all the ideas that the navigator has will be shared with everybody. And that's what I call strong style pairing. So you cannot just type anything like, I have a good idea, watch me. It doesn't work like that. So that's what we do. Who doesn't want to learn anything today? Oh, that's good. So everybody wants to learn something. That's actually part of this whole mob programming. You might be sitting there and think, oh, what they do is really, that's stupid. Why don't they do it like this? I'm brilliant. Why don't they? Well, if you're brilliant, you're not going to learn anything. So that's too bad for you. If somebody doesn't know something here, that's amazing, because these people will learn something, right? So be friendly, listen to what they want. If you have a good idea, try to help out, but create a safe place. Because if you're here, it might be a little bit overwhelming, all these people here. I'm really scared of you right now already, so be nice to each other. And there's a whole bunch of guidelines how to do this. One navigator at a time, told you about that. If you don't want to participate, fine. Don't do it. But if you want, feel free to join us here. Yeah, I think everything is basically clear. Is anybody wants to use their phone a couple of next 45 minutes? If you want to use your phone, please sit in the back, because it might be distracting to other people. If you don't want to use your phone, feel free to just stay here on the floor. You can take pictures, of course. What else do we have? So yes, let's start. Is there somebody who does TDD a lot? You did TDD a lot, right?
Well, not a lot.
Well, you know TDD, right? At least you know TDD, right?
Screw it anyway.
Are you comfortable with sitting in the front row and then? join us. Who would really like to try this? Really, really? Yeah? Want to join us on the front? You too? Anybody else? It's like, I want to be in there. Yes? Well, about 5 or 6 would be great. That's one more. That's great. Who doesn't know Xcode? You want to type? Do you feel comfortable? Doesn't? Yeah, it's all right. I have some hand sanitizer. Some people don't know what the last time.
I need that. Yeah.
Some people don't know what the last time was you sneezed, and then somebody else doesn't want to get sick tomorrow. So if you want to use that, you can use that.
Isn't it more efficient to put it on the keyboard?
Sorry?
Isn't it more efficient to put it on the keyboard?
Yes, it is, but it might not last very long. The computer gets all sanitized, and then the bits go on the left, and the bytes go on the right, and then the computer gets all confused. Nobody got that joke? Bits, bytes, come on. All right, you'll be the navigator to start with, all right? I have a little assignment. FizzBuzz. Who knows FizzBuzz already? Some do. Yes, that's good. Then, if you like, but I'm sick of FizzBuzz. Are you sick of?
I have never written it. So.
All right. Are you sick of FizzBuzz yet? Kinda. Want to do Roman numerals then?
Oh no.
All right.
I think
So-
I'm almost on the Balmer peak.
Yeah, but it's a fun little assignment. It's not really tricky, but it's more about the process, how you get somewhere. So it doesn't matter if you have it already at the end. It does matter if you have seen how this mob programming works. So what is FizzBuzz about? It's a small children game that's played a lot in America, where kids sit around a circle. The first one says 1, the second one says 2. The third one cannot say 3 because it's multiple 3, it has to say fizz. Then the fourth one can say 4 because it's not a multiple of 3. And the fifth one cannot say 5 because it's a multiple of 5, and then you have to say buzz. So you go 1, 2, fizz, 4, buzz,
6 fish.
fizz, because it's multiple 3, right? So that's the idea. If you get to 15, you have to say FizzBuzz because it's a multiple of 5 and 3. All right. We're not doing this one. We're not doing that one. So I would like to just switch over to Xcode. I have a little project here that does nothing. Or actually, it does do something because I can press Command U. It will run the test, and they succeed. There's no simulator starting up, if anybody was expecting a simulator to start, because I turned off the host application, which means the unit tests run a lot faster. If you now want to know more about that, then you learned something already today. So you can actually turn off the host application.
Where?
Can you show it?
You want to show it?
What do you want me to show?
Where to turn it off? I'll show it. I'll be kind this time. So in the project, right here it says host application none, allow testing host application APIs. That doesn't matter. So this is the one. The only thing is you cannot do any UI stuff, or not complex UI stuff. And it doesn't run on a device, which is annoying. It used to run on a device on Xcode 5. Who remembers that? Oh, I feel really old now. Okay, so that's it. We have some view controllers, whatever. We have some tests here, and that's all green. So we're good to go. You can stand over here. There's a microphone here if you want to use it. I think that helps for people at home. Yeah, better do that.
Test. Does it work?
You have to hold us really close.
Is it working? Test. Well, first we need to write test. We could use that example because anyone has a good idea of what our first test name should be. Like I think about
Test 3.
test 3. Sure. test 3. We're gonna write test 3. Okay, we now want to initialize our class FizzBuzz. For the TDD, we just write it first, and it will give a compile error, and then we're gonna make the class FizzBuzz. But we first have to write, just first initialize it, and then when the compiler gives an error, then we start writing production code.
Sure. But
So
you want to initialize what?
the FizzBuzz class. So just let FizzBuzz is new, is FizzBuzz. Yeah.
Like this?
Yes, exactly. And then we switch to the FizzBuzz project. Yeah, just anywhere, and then create a new file called FizzBuzz.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Create a class. Yeah, now we're done. We switch back to our test because we can run it exactly.
Yeah, all right.
Nice. And next we want to start calling our function. We should say start countdown to 100, execute.
What is my, oh, shift is small. Something like this?
Yeah, exactly. And then we're going to make a function in our class now. As you noticed, the TDD will ship a lot with production and production. But we're not doing any implementation yet because we're not using it yet.
Does it really make sense to count up to 100?
What does the specification say? What for that? Range from 1 to 100, and then every 3 we're counting up is counting up to. So let's rename the function to count up.
Hello? Is it working now? So we want to rename our start countdown function to count up. Thank you. Next, we're going back to the test. Is it still compiling?
Well,
Build fails.
Never seen this.
Never host applications, maybe even this was last test case.
Okay.
Target.
Is it in the target?
Yeah, is it in the correct target? But we're already importing it, the target into FizzBuzz.
This one.
Yeah, it's correct.
Do this too.
No, it shouldn't be needed. But
Okay, yeah.
okay, what do you want to assert here? We want to assert like if we're like we want to,
We want to make sure that for every
Like-
3 there's,
but like
multiple 3 there's a 5 is.
but maybe start with like that we ended at 100. Maybe that's a simple thing first. So you're gonna assert that the value of our like let's say count or numbers is 100. So we now switch back to our FizzBuzz class and make a count property, a readable card. Yeah.
All right, can you all switch over one seat?
And you're the lucky one because you don't have to switch to a seat. You can just stand up and you switch places. And now you cannot type what you want to type.
I do not care. Okay, where were we? We had an f.count is equal to 100. I hate the test method name now, so please make it counting up to 100. Test counting up to 100 for the test method.
So counting to 100.
The test method.
Or the test one.
Yes.
Can I just child suggestions at you?
If you want.
So let's maybe return a range or an array, so we don't need a separate count property. Make it nice and functional, no side effects.
This sounds complicated.
So we have a function, it returns an array of numbers or array of any.
Too complicated for me. There's an F that's confusing people. Can we go to the FizzBuzz class without all the refactoring going around? Okay, we have the count up to 100. Maybe we should just have a start method. Yeah. And we want a increase count method. And inside of the increase count method, we want to increment the count.
It's not TDD now.
This is true. And we want to set the output value to something. We want to have we want to set the output value that is actually a string, and we want to set it to the variable to the static nothing something, because we are not filling it in yet in the same increase count method.
Could you specify?
In increase count method, below the count, output.
You mean, oh, like
Output, yes. Is, and then a string something, the literal something. Okay. That's it for now. And then the count up to 100, we will make a for loop for now. That just goes from 1 to 100, and each time asks the increase count to run.
which for loop do you want?
I do not care. Just use the 0 until. So until, or is that up until and including 2?
Was it for E in?
Yes. And I think technically you need 99 or either a smaller than, but it will be fine.
You were complaining? You get a new keyboard.
Yes.
It's the same.
Can you add a variable output?
Maybe we can run a test to see if it actually works.
And now we can run the test.
All right, we will shift again.
It works. Everyone, applause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Small observation, we had a suggestion from the mob, which is fine. We had a navigator that ignored the suggestion, which is also fine, because the navigator was navigating. And we might see more interesting implementations about what the mob was thinking about later on. So that's all fine. So please continue.
All right, so I'll wait for the driver to clean his hands. So what I want to do is just have a simple function in the FizzBuzz which actually returns a string for a given input integer. Yeah, that's a very good name. Indeed, we pass in an integer. And right now, by default, so it will return a string, this method. And yes, empty string is fine. All right, so now we can add a test method to the FizzBuzz test class. And let's call this test3, like the one we started with initially. And let's create an array of those people. All right, so let's get started with an array of multiples of 3. So you can create them programmatically or just hard code them. That's fine. And let's go up to let's go up to 100.
So it's flexible.
Yeah, that's true. It's well probably better to hard code some sort of inputs because otherwise we're sort of implementing the same logic twice. All right. Let's see. yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's just create a simple array that contains like 3, 6, 9, and up until 12. Might expand that in the future, but I don't know. And then for each of this, for each value in this array, call the return string function on a FizzBuzz object. So maybe create a new FizzBuzz object outside of the loop, and then assert that the return value is the fizz string. No, we don't need to check any output. Just inside the for loop, we'll just do the xc assert, and then assert so f dot return string for value, and then assert that the return string is equal to fizz. Yeah, so xct assert equal. All right, and then expression 1 will be f dot return string for value.
Probably it's compiled first.
All right, and then the second value will be a value. No, that's not true. Sorry, the second value will be fizz, the string fizz. And then add an additional parameter to this assertion that that's a string that contains expected fizz for value. So at the end of the assertion, and then add an additional argument. That's just a description for when the test fails, that we can actually see, all right, which value is failing. Otherwise, we'll just get a generic assertion failure on this line, and we won't know exactly for which value it was. Well, probably because it's an assertion equal, we do, but you know, still nice to keep it clean.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yes. We are going to level up a little bit, because now, while he's cleaning his hands, you can state your intent. What do you want to accomplish the next 4 minutes? And then you can start.
State my intent. First, we want to finish the test to guarantee that it works correctly for the threes and the multiples of threes. And then expand to also test the multiples of fives.
All right.
Please try to run the test.
All right.
It failed. What does the output say?
All right. So
Empty string not equal to fizz. Expected fizz for value 3. Okay. This is why we did. That's because we didn't call anything on the FizzBuzz object. So please in the loop in the test3 method, call increase count before the assertion. Oh no. Run the test. They will fail again.
We need to return the fizz in the FizzBuzz class.
Oh, well, of course.
Return fizz, that's it.
Oh yeah, change it to return fizz. And the tests succeed. Yay, great. Oh my. Yes. Can I ask the mob for suggestions, or is that forbidden?
No, go ahead.
We can now copy the whole thing.
Yes.
For 5.
Please copy the test3 method, rename it to test5 or test5s. Let's go with that. Fives.
Maybe change the multiples.
Yes, we will change the expected values, so that will be multiples of 5, 5, 10, exactly. You're thinking too much, typist. You're not allowed to think, I was told. Let's rename it to multiples of 5, array of multiples of 5.
Keep adding more values?
No, you don't have to.
Also PDF below.
Rename that one and please run the tests again.
Well, we should also test it against Buzz.
Oh, yeah, change the test to Buzz. Okay, in the return string for integer method, please remove line 32 and insert a switch over the integer. And then for cases 3, 6, 9, and 12. Or, sorry?
No, it is modulo.
Oh yeah, we could, of course. I was just testing you. Please remove the switch. Replace it with if integer modulo 3 is equal to 0, then return fizz. Else if integer modulo 5 equals 0, return buzz. Else return empty string. And please run the tests again. Okay. Mob, why is that again? I can't think.
Well, multiple of 3 is also 15.
Oh, right, of course. Please, let's code an exception for that. After line 31.
Well, we should just, no, we should remove it from the test because the test is correct.
Oh, right, of course.
All right, thank you very much.
I
Again.
know, but 3 comes first.
Any input from the back mob? Any suggestions? Any ideas?
Yeah. I think the presenter is every time not asking enough to the bank.
All right,
Yeah.
Could that be?
could be. Yes,
Talk about FizzBuzz for 15.
second.
FizzBuzz for 15.
Yeah, you want FizzBuzz for 15, all right. That's true.
Wait, was it 3 times 5 or 3 plus 5?
3 times.
Yeah,
Okay.
spec.
Yeah.
Yes, so where they clash, the 3s and the 5, that's where you have to say FizzBuzz. Because 3s is Fizz, 5 buzz, FizzBuzz.
Well, the specifications were a bit
Dodgy. All right. Okay, let's rotate.
All right, so I did not completely get that. So 15 is supposed to be FizzBuzz, right?
Right.
So can someone explain to me why? Because it's both 3 and it's both
Yes.
5.
So we should maybe first check on modulo 15.
Well, I think that the test, if we run the test right now, it should still pass. Because we should have like at most one failing test at a time. Maybe we just remember this for now and create the other test that will test for FizzBuzz.
If you want to
And then-
remember something, you can put it on the board. You
Sorry?
can write something on the board if you want to remember something for later.
Okay.
We could add 15
I'm okay.
now and then remove the else statements. Just do if, and then you have FizzBuzz already. So
Remove 15 now.
add 15 back to the array of multiples of 5.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And then on the return string method,
Yeah.
I'm only listening to that again.
Yeah, I'm listening
You
as well.
remove the else statements.
I like the private.
Let's try it. Let's try it. So we remove the else on the return string. And you were saying?
Yeah, remove the other else and make it. Just only the word itself.
Oh yeah. Remove the word else. Yeah. And enter.
I hit enter and then so we now just need to enter the return string.
Yeah. So indeed, enter, and then enter and then return an empty string.
So it's the syntax is the same.
All the same.
But you think, let's go. It's better.
Now already have the output feature.
Well, I mean, I still think the test 5, I mean, 15 shouldn't be in there because that should be a different test. Yes, right? So we should add a test for FizzBuzz. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I tried. That's what I was thinking as well. Let's try that because I don't really follow this this point. Can we? Well, let's leave it now because the tests are there anyway. So let's add another test. Copy this the previous test, and this time we are going to enter the cases where it's both 3 and 5. So that was 15. We started 15. We're gonna remove 15 from the test 5s for now. So what else do we have? With the 30, put it there, and then 45, and we are going to.
Change the function name to test 15.
Yeah, test 15s.
Test FizzBuzzes.
Indeed. So we're gonna change buzz to FizzBuzz. We are going to run the test to see that the other one will pass again, hopefully. That's a good point. So the array of multiples of 5s, we're going to change to array of multiples of 15. Yeah, that's a nice one. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. We will rotate again. Any intervention from the mob, from the big mob? No? All right. What is your intent?
My intent is to add, to make this test pass, the 15th test. Well, there's multiple things we can do. We could maybe start by adding a, if integer modulo 15 is 0, return FizzBuzz, but I'm sure there's better ways.
Well, but it's the easiest for
Okay.
now. It's just a couple lines. Otherwise,
Yeah, okay, so enter, copy that thing and enter. Yeah? If integer modulo 15 is 0, return FizzBuzz. Then we can run the test. Did we accomplish the task? Or
we
what?
still got to like the count up from 1 to 100, and then print all the
Oh,
numbers.
we need to print. I see. Yeah, okay.
Also, that's not this, that's not buzz.
Yes.
So we need to add another test to test the non-fizzes and buzzes.
Return an empty string.
Okay, so let's add another test. Or do we want to test? Does it have to output like the numbers or an empty? The numbers. Okay. Well, we test the test others or test. Okay. What do we need to do? An array of everything but 3's. A variable name with array.
We need a parentheses like this.
Sorry, what do you do? Oh, in the test, yeah. Okay, well, we can copy the. So how can we create this test array, guys?
2, 4, 6, no, let's say 2, 4, 8.
Oh, we just pick a bunch. Create this array of. Let's just call it array, and then.
Negative value?
Sorry.
Yeah, just
Let's pick array, and then let's say Well, 1, 2, 4, 5. No, not 5. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. No 6. 8. Not 9. Not 10. 11.
100.
Even more? 13? Yeah, 13. And 14. All right, so it should equal empty string, or the number. It should equal the number. What was the thing? Empty string. Okay. In the test. Okay, and then maybe expected empty string in the test. The description. All right, let's run it. Okay. Now we need to print something. Right.
All right. Let's stop right here. You can take a seat again. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Let's give you an applause for showing it off. You can take a seat as well. Some observations from the crowd or from anybody.
It's surprisingly difficult.
It is, isn't it? It is difficult.
It's also a lot
yes.
of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun also, yeah.
But what is difficult then?
Communication, I guess, if you do it
Right.
all right in your head.
Right? Explaining what you want,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Mine is the other way around. I mean, I don't have everything right in my head, but the lag is off-putting.
Right. It is something to get used to, so it will get smoother and smoother if you do it more often. Anything else? Maybe something about, yeah?
Well, there was absolutely nothing, we prepared with nothing. So
Yes.
I mean, if you would do this in real life, I assume you first go to a whiteboard maybe.
This was real life, right? There was a whiteboard.
Yeah, but okay, that's what
Also,
I mean
you're
is,
not hired.
Huh?
You're not hired.
Okay, let's put it this way. If you do this in a actual project, let's say
Right.
For real, you know, not in a presentation, don't you start with at least something that you agreed upon? Like, this is what we're going to build.
You could have done that. You could have first stated the problem and
Yeah.
first discussed about how to start, right? Or like we did, just dive in and start and then learn where you're going. That's all fine. Either way will work. You could have used the whiteboard a little bit more, maybe about writing down things you want to do first or later, or you want to park. That's something to use. If I look at the code, you accomplished nothing. You couldn't even count to 1. Nope, you counted to nothing.
We never used the count.
Right, so the children's game is actually count from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, with the exemption for 3. So I would start with 1, because that's the simplest thing that might work, right? And then you have something to build on, but that's something about TDD. Just start with the simplest thing. Is 3 the simplest thing? I don't think so. I think 1 is a lot simpler than 3. So that might be something, a different way of looking into this. And then you would actually have, if you just start with 1, you would have a program that actually works for only just 1 number, but it works. And it's fine, and it runs, and the tests are fine. And now you have, you tell me.
Work in progress.
Yes. It's not agile enough in my mind, because I like to at least deliver something. If I build a calculator and I build a calculator that can only add 0 to 0, I built a calculator. It doesn't do a lot, but it works, right? So that's something you might want to consider. You notice that all your ideas have to go through the hands of the other person. That's something to get used to, but it also explains everybody what you're thinking about, instead of just typing and hoping that somebody else will actually follow you. And there were some moments where there was some difficulty communicating, and that's fine, because then you really have to think about, am I clear in my head about what I want to accomplish, or do I just want to type and find out what happens, right? One thing I really liked was, at some point, a variable was a name the old name, multiples of 3 or 15, I don't know. And that would have happened in real life, right? And somebody from the mob said, hey, I'm sharper right now than you are right now, so let's change that name to something more meaningful. And that's exactly an example of mob programming where you find the sharp moments of all the people all the time. And that's something I enjoyed that happened. So, all right, so this was really an example of mob programming. It was really simple, but it's something you can actually try, and if you want to use it, you can use it, and if you want to need some help with that, I can help as well. I think it's a lot of fun. It's also playing with code. So that's it for now. Thanks a lot. Questions? Yes?
Yeah, you're using this as a shell currently?
Not a shell, no. I've used it at ABN AMRO when they were exploring a new feature. And they actually got a group of iOS and Android developers and designers and some business people together. And they actually developed a new feature that they weren't sure about which way to go yet. And using this mob programming, they had all these bright minds all in the same room, and they could actually develop something. So.
Yeah, because whatever sort of amount of people do you think?
Well, in that case, they had about 15, 20 people. And I think they had about 4 or 5 people in the front, and the other people helping out with more ideas, maybe having a laptop to find more things. So that can also work. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great. Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you very much.